Alright, yeah. But I watched Alex Lifeson talking about Rory Gallagher. But yeah, this is a video just talking about when Rush toured with Rory Gallagher. It's not that long, but yeah, when Rush toured with Rory Gallagher, let's go.
Way back in 1974, on a bunch of dates across North America, Rush opened for Rory Gallagher, the legendary Irish guitarist. Alex Lifeson says it was their first proper tour and it was so exciting. They just tried to be polite, keep out of the way, and not be a bunch of dicks. Many bands back then could be very dismissive of their support acts. They hardly talked to you, you often had the tiniest dressing room, if any dressing room at all, and an encore was out of the question. Get on, get off, and lose yourselves. Though Rory Gallagher was very, very different. He would go out of his way to make you feel comfortable. He was always approachable for advice and some good old banter. When Rory played at London's Marquee in the late 60s, if you hung around after the gig and helped the band break down and load up their equipment, Rory was always up for a chat and a few after hours drinks. A very young Brian May was often.
Yeah, I've heard people say that about Rory Gallagher. That after his shows, he would literally be up the bar in the venue getting a drink. Just with everyone else, yeah. Yeah, let's go.
In that group and was always asking Rory about his equipment, his guitar technique. Other guys would just blow you off, but not Rory. He was a very kind and very considerate man. Anyway, Alex says that night after night he would stand at the side of the stage and watch Rory play. What a tremendous education for a young guitarist. Rory
Yeah.
Gallagher, yes, was blues based, but apart from the incredible technique, his incredible technique, he put his heart and his soul into playing. Many guys play the blues, and yes, they are technically superb, but with Rory, you felt it was coming from a place deep down inside. His heart, soul, whatever you want to call it. In an interview a few years back, Alex was asked, was he influenced by Rory Gallagher? He says yes, from a very early age. Alex Lifeson. Rory had this way of getting harmonics just by striking with his pick in a certain way, and I'd never seen anyone do that. I'd heard it all over his stuff, and I thought, what a great thing to do. And you know what? I employ that little trick in all my stuff, and I learned that directly from Rory. In 1982, when Rush were absolutely huge, the chance appeared for Rory to open for the band, and of course they jumped at it. And, like the gentlemen they are, the band gave Rory and his band everything they could ask for, and they were allowed to do anything they wanted. It was during this time Alex and Rory spent time hanging out with each other and became great friends. If you don't know much about Rory, may I direct you to his 1973 studio album Tattoo and the incendiary live album The Irish Tour 1974. Take a close listen to Rory's licks on those albums, and I'm sure if you're a devout Rush fan like myself, you'll see many points along the way where Alex and Rory cross paths. One last
Yeah.
thing about Mr. Gallagher, and this I admire more than his incredible guitar playing. In the early 1970s, Belfast Island was like a war zone. The RIA were letting bombs off all over the city. No performer would be mad enough to put on a show. You could all be blown to bits. Yes, no one would perform, and the kids of Belfast were starved of live music. But New Year's Day 1972, Rory Gallagher was going to play a gig at the notorious Ulster Hall in Belfast. But just 24 hours before, the city had witnessed its biggest bomb blast ever during a night of at least 10 explosions. Rory Gallagher. I see no reason for not playing Belfast. Kids still live here and they're fed up with listening to records. And you know what? He did it. 2,000 people rocked and rolled, forgetting the bombs, the troubles, no divisions, no fighting, know nothing. The RIA had said they would leave it alone, but it was still a massive risk. Hats off to you, Rory, a true legend on and off the stage. Like I said, if you want to find out more about this incredible guitarist called Rory Gallagher, take a listen to the studio album Tattoo and the Irish Tour 1974. Thank you for listening. Please stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you in the next video.
I've never heard that story before of Rory playing when the IRA was bombing Belfast. Yeah, I've never heard that story. That's a good story. The other bit was kind of like a lot of what I've watched in Alex Ison talking about, and Brian May talking about him. But yeah, I do just love this partnership of Rush and Rory, to be fair. It's just great. And like, as soon as I started reacting to Rush, I heard Rory Gallagher in Alex Ison straight away. Straight away. But anyway, yeah, that's the reaction. Sweet.